What's up, everyone? It is Lan here with another episode of the Cheeseheadz Weekly Podcast. It's good to be with you here again after a week of absence. Plus, I'm late. Plus, I was late like 2 weeks ago and 3 weeks ago. And yeah, it's officially summertime, that's for sure. And stuff's happening. And also, there just is a lack of stuff happening on the NFL and or Packers front. And I've been kind of, focused on baseball more, which this is a Packers only podcast, so I didn't feel the need to talk about that here, but I've been following a lot of Brewers baseball. That's been fun. Looking like a good year for the Brew Crew, and yeah, they've had a really nice start to the year, and it's been fun to watch. So I've been following the MLB a lot more, but there is some things happening. The Packers are right in the middle of OTAs, so lots of stuff happening on their end, just not a whole lot to talk about. But I do have some topics lined up now that I was able to come up with some help. So we'll get into those. Not a real major topic, but I just have a few things I want to touch on. Go over a few news things, some things we're hearing coming out of OTAs, and kind of what's going on with, the Jordan Love contract and different other rumors around the Packers sphere right now. Before we get into this episode here, I'd just like to let you know that we do have Q&As and polls that I post every single week on Spotify. So you can send in an answer to my questions, and it kind of gives some discussion there. There's a link in the description of every episode on every platform, so you can send in a voice message and send in a question or comment or anything you have to say, and I can put that on next week's episode of the show and play that back, and we can have a discussion about whatever you want to let me know about. The show is available anywhere you get your podcasts, with the exception of Amazon Music. The show's also available on YouTube. I've been having some major issues with the video form. I'm trying different things. Using Riverside this time, as you can probably tell. So we'll see if that works any better than what I had been doing. It's just really difficult to sync the audio and video for some reason. I'm not sure why they make it so difficult to do, but at any rate, we're working on it. But we do have it available for the most part in video form. It's just some of them look terrible because they're out of sync. New episodes of the show come out every Tuesday, or at least they're supposed to. This one's coming out Wednesday or Thursday. The last few I did have been the same way, plus I missed a week. So, not been great, and I'm trying to figure out what to do, because I did division previews last year. In my opinion, they seemed like they were probably pretty boring. Plus, I never really I said I was going to go over all my record predictions and everything again, and I never ended up doing that. I'm not even sure if I have them anymore. And I don't even think I have my playoff predictions, which I wanted to go over for sure. So we're going to see if we can get things a little more organized this time, and I'm not going to do full record predictions because they end up just being, random. I'm just saying something, and it doesn't end up really being a good, accurate prediction. Plus they're kind of boring. So we're not going to do that. And so that, eliminates what was kind of the main topic on the show last year at this time. So we're trying to come out with some episodes that are more exciting, I guess. And we'll see what we can do. You can hit the bell icon on Spotify and YouTube to be notified when a new episode comes out if you want to. hit that follow or subscribe button. Totally free. You can just ignore the subscribe and treat it as follow, because nothing involving this show involves a subscription or a fee of any kind, and the support would be appreciated if you could do that. It really helps build the show. Also, you could leave a rating on Spotify. You can also rate and review on Apple Podcasts. Tell your friends about the show. You can comment on YouTube. You can follow the show on social media at Cheeseheadz_weekly on Twitter or X. It is at Cheeseheadz_W. That's probably where I'm the most active. And you can also check out the website, greatcove.net/cheeseheads. All the ways to follow me and listen to the show. And you can also comment on the website as well on an episode. So let's get into it. Let's look first at some of the pieces of news coming out of OTAs. We have had a few injuries. Zach Tom, I think I might have mentioned this, but Zach Tom and Tucker Kraft both have chest injuries or pec injuries. Tucker Kraft seems to be significantly worse. We figured out the cause for it. He said he was bench pressing, and just like Matt LaFleur was when he tore his pectoral muscle, Tucker Kraft said he was bench pressing and the muscle just, quote, popped off the bone. So that does not sound very pleasant, and sounds like it could be a little while for him. As for Zach Tom, he's already slowly, working his way back. He did warm-ups during the latest OTA that was open for the media. He warmed up with the team, obviously not practicing or anything at all yet, but that's a good sign to, see that his obviously is not quite as serious as Tucker Kraft's injury. Also, there was an injury to Lucas Van Ness. Had a minor thumb injury, broke, quote, just the tip of his thumb, and he was back that was like 2 OTAs ago that were open to the media, and he was back at the latest one that was open to the media. So not all of them are open to the media, like one a week, I think they say, are open to the media. So that is where we can figure some of these things out, because they're not obviously putting out an injury report or anything at this point. Also, there were some other injuries as well. Robert Rochelle was injured for a little bit. I think he came back. Tyler Davis, I think, is still working his way back from the ACL tear last year. And there may have been some others that I'm not remembering. But all in all, the Packers are in a pretty good situation for injury, and it looks like everyone is scheduled to return by week 1. I'm not sure exactly where Davis is, I guess, with the ACL recovery, but it happened, I think, last year in the offseason before the season started, or like preseason maybe. So I think he should be ready for week 1 if everything goes according to plan. So everyone should be ready, probably ready for training camp, and for sure ready for week 1 and the preseason and everything leading up to week 1. So there's been plenty of buzz coming out of training camp. The kicker competition has kind of been a big thing this off season. Anders Carlson didn't have the greatest year, and so Packers have brought in competition, and so far it looks like Carlson is leading that competition. During the last practice, they tried to, obviously practice is not nearly the same as a game as far as pressure situations and stress and everything like that. The Packers tried to replicate a game situation as much as possible. They did that by allowing other players to distract them, by yelling at them, waving their arms, and apparently some even sprayed some water on them. all kinds of different stuff. That this was their last field goal of the day. But Lesney came up, missed the kick. Greg Joseph came up, missed the kick. Anders Carlson came up and drilled the kick, and the kick was from 53 yards out. So very nice. Very nice job by Carlson to make that kick, and he was immediately mobbed by teammates afterwards. But yeah, just trying to make it difficult, simulate game situations as much as possible when it's, non-contact football at this point in the offseason, no pads or anything. And last week's practice, in this week's, or I guess this was last week too. The last practice open for media, Carlson was 3 for 3 from at least 50 yards. And during the practice before that, he was 6 for 7 on attempts ranging from 40 to 51 yards. He had one miss that was, I believe, from 51 yards. So Carlson seems to be doing pretty well. I really do hope he wins that competition because he's a young guy that, got a big leg coming out of, and Packers liked him, obviously, coming out of college because they drafted him. They put draft capital into him, and I would just love to see that work out for them. So hopefully that happens. As far as rookie contracts, I'm not sure. I think there's still one left, perhaps. The Packers did sign Edgerrin Cooper and Javon Bullard. The only one that remains unsigned is first-round pick offensive lineman Jordan Morgan. All of the others have signed, including Edgerrin Cooper and Javon Bullard as the two latest ones. So, locked up those two most recently, and Morgan should be coming soon. As far as the Jordan Love contract situation, Brian Gutekunst talked about that. I don't remember where, some for Packers radio station. With Steve, I won't even try to say his name. Steve Zabin, I'm not sure if you say the C at the beginning or not, and Brian Butch of 97.3 The Game in Milwaukee. This was on Tuesday, and Gutekunst said, we're in those conversations right now. The nice part about this, none of these things are easy or fast. What? Okay, well, apparently he likes that they're not easy or fast. Sorry, that just caught me off guard a little bit there. But both parties want the same thing. We'd like to get this thing done before training camp for sure, and both parties want to get a contract extension done. That stability at that position really allows you to have some security with the way we build our team. So basically, he's saying it's still going to take some time, but both parties, seem to be in contact with each other, having good conversations, working towards getting that contract extension done. And they'd like to get it done by training camp. Both parties would. So that's a great sign that hopefully it'll be happening sooner rather than later. We've been having huge contracts going around, and maybe I'll go over that in the market right now in the NFL a little bit later, but big contracts getting handed out. So the sooner it happens, probably the better before prices continue to skyrocket. But as far as on Jordan Love's end, he doesn't really want to talk about it. He's not really thinking about it right now. I'm sure it's in the back of his mind, but right now he's focused on getting better, focused on getting the team ready for next season. And he's at OTAs, as are basically everyone. I'm pretty sure everyone has been there for at least some practices. I think some of the vets have missed a few of them, but at least a few practices, a lot of the practices, the majority, I think the whole team has been together, including Jair Alexander, who seems to be starting everything off on the right foot, needing a bounce back year, was injured some last year, had the suspension, and just overall did not play as well. And so it's been good to have him at OTAs, really bonding well with Xavier McKinney. Those two seem to be really setting the tone on defense with their energy, bringing the heat. And so that's been a lot of fun to see. They're, quote, already on the same page. Jair Alexander still has that swagger, but yet seems to be dialed in, locked in, ready to, get the team ready, and seems to be acting as, a little bit more of a team player as we start the off season here. And he's been at every practice. In years past, he has not always been at OTAs. So it's been great to see him putting the work in, and he seems to be bought into the new system under Jeff Hafley. Seems to be much happier and just ready to get after it. So it's been, kind of a breath of fresh air, I guess, to see Jair Alexander back and locked in, and hopefully ready for a big bounce back campaign here in 2024. All right, so as far as other news, I don't have a lot. Another interesting nugget is that Kobe Wooden has showed up ready to roll. He got stronger and added 15 pounds during the offseason. There had been some speculation before this offseason that perhaps he could be a defensive end in the new system, as he was previously listed at 278 pounds as a rookie. He is now up over 290 and as heavy as 293. And hopefully the extra weight and strength will produce a second-year leap. He says, quote, being light down there, they'll definitely circle you out and highlight you. I definitely needed to get stronger. It's a grown man world down there. I just needed to get stronger. So he is likely going to be playing on the interior. He played almost exclusively there as a rookie, and the results were okay. He was pretty good as far as, pressures, and did have a few stops, but he really struggled to hold up against the run, and then even late in the season wasn't all that great as a pass rusher either. And Wooden was, being outsnapped and outplayed by Carl Brooks, who I think a lot of Packers fans are high on, including me. I'm still very much high on Kobe Wooden, as I was when he was drafted. So I think the Packers think he can play some edge in the new defense, but most of his work is expected to be inside. And especially since, he gained that extra weight. So Kobe Wooden putting in the work. Great to see that. And, the vibes are great coming out of, OTAs. Jordan Love has talked about it. Matt LaFleur has talked about it. That really everyone is putting in the work. We have, Jaden Reed and Dontavian Wicks got together to get some practices in during the off season. And so they we're helping each other improve, Dontavian Wicks helping Jaden Reed with his route running, and Jaden Reed trying to help Wicks with his explosiveness and speed and run after the catch ability, just kind of feeding off each other's strengths. And that has been great to see. Jordan Love says there's a great energy and bonding happening. Says Packers are, quote, Packers are in a, quote, awesome spot right now. He says the Packers could be very special in 2024. I'll just read all that he said. The bond that started off last year, and we became a lot closer just through the adversity of last season and making a run at the end there. But coming into OTAs, there's been so much energy in the building. Since I've been here, I felt like this is the closest the team has been. It's been very awesome to see guys going out there and competing. Having everyone here at this time is very cool because you're just building those relationships and getting closer with guys, getting to go out there and work with them every day. So I think this team is in an awesome spot right now. So Yeah, he says he feels like the team is the closest it's ever been since he has been with the Packers. That is great to hear. It certainly feels like it from everything I've been hearing from others as well. Matt LaFleur says, quote, "I'm really pleased with where we are right now. Not only the cohesion on the field, but also off the field. Every time we step into the meeting rooms, there's been great energy, great interaction with the guys. That's part of the process, how we can come together. That's a great part of the off season. It allows these guys to spend a lot of time with each other, not only in the building, but outside the building as well." And then Bo Melton says, quote, "We have a team that loves each other. We're all here. We're all grinding, all working hard. We love the vibe. We love the energy we're bringing to the team right now." Speaking of Bo Melton, he's looked really good in OTAs, possibly the best anyone has looked. Also, Christian Watson and Eric Stokes look to be in the best shape of their young careers. Watson looking really fast and smooth out there. He figured out, hopefully, what happened with the hamstring injuries. Both of them went to a specialist in Madison to look at those, issues with the continuous soft tissue injuries. And Watson has said that basically what they found was an imbalance in mass between his legs, and that causes the stride, messes up his stride, which contributed to the hamstring injuries. So he's trying to equal out that mass and get it to from like, well, I don't even know, there was a certain amount of difference. He's really trying to lower that to a lower amount of difference in mass between his legs, so that he has an even stride. He's not putting too much stress on the hamstrings, and so he can do well. And Eric Stokes, everyone's been saying he looks even faster than he was as a rookie. He looks to look like he's in the best shape of his life right now, and he's been getting consistent starting reps opposite Jair Alexander ahead of Carrington Valentine. So that is a great sign. Eric Stokes really needs a big bounce back if he wants to get a second contract with the Packers headed into a contract year. The Packers rejected his fifth-year option, so he will be playing on the final year of his deal. So it should be interesting what he can do, to see what he can do. And yeah, it's been really great to see. Dontavian Wicks had a few drops in camp. I don't expect that to continue during the season, and I'm sure that's something he'll work on, but has been getting consistent separation. That's something we like to see. Again, this all, people are saying A.J. Dillon also looks lean and mean. Really, really looks rock solid, in his build and everything. Possibly a little bit faster, a little bit more agile this season or this off season, but everything that is said right now doesn't carry a whole lot of weight because the players aren't carrying any weight. They don't have any pads or helmets on, so they're all in shorts out there right now. So of course you're gonna look fast, but I get it. We do have OTAs every year, so we have that to compare it to. So all in all, pretty much everything coming out of camp has been positive, and that is good to hear. Now, I do want to address something that was, talked about, kind of NFL related, but also in a way Packers related as well, and that is CJ Stroud's comment. I don't remember or know who he made this comment to, but apparently he made this comment to someone in the media that he would prefer to have a career like Eli Manning than to have a career like Aaron Rodgers. Now, obviously, as Packers fans, we know what an Aaron Rodgers career looks like, or at least most of it. He is with the Jets now, and his career has the potential to end, in not the greatest way. But with the Packers, Aaron Rodgers is a 4-time MVP. Not sure how many All-Pros he has. It's a lot. I can look it up here. One Super Bowl victory. Okay, so I mean, he's considered, one of the great quarterbacks, great all-time quarterbacks in the league. He is uh he's a 10-time Pro Bowler, 4-time first-team All-Pro, and was named a second-team All-Pro once. So great, a great quarterback. Kind of like I said, recognized as one of the all-time greats at the quarterback position. The only major flaw, only one Super Bowl ring. And I'm sure you'd love to have more. It just never really worked out. And it just never, they never could really get all the way to the Super Bowl. They had some heartbreaking moments, didn't always have the team around them. As James Jones said, they only had a really top tier defense in the league the year they won the Super Bowl. Never really had great defenses. The offenses is what was great. So, Aaron Rodgers, great career in Green Bay overall. Eli Manning, no MVPs, no All-Pros. He basically, the only thing that's really, I should look it up to see if he has any Pro Bowl appearances. I'm not sure if he does. Basically, he does. He has 4 Pro Bowls. He played in 4 Pro Bowls, which, again, the Pro Bowl doesn't mean a whole lot at all, but he does have that. Played 16 seasons with the Giants. And people are talking about, Eli Manning, is he going to be in the Hall of Fame? It's kind of overshadowed by his brother Peyton, but, it's hard to, there's big discussion about whether he should be a Hall of Famer or not. And he won 2 Super Bowls, while Aaron Rodgers is, an all-time great quarterback and has only won 1 Super Bowl, is considered a surefire, first ballot Hall of Famer whenever he retires. So CJ Stroud is saying he would rather have Eli Manning's career. Now, Eli Manning, to be fair, is a 2-time Super Bowl champion, but he is a 2-time Super Bowl champion over Tom Brady, the greatest of all time, most decorated Super Bowl champion, blah, blah, blah. Beat him twice and won the Super Bowl there. So apparently he's pretty clutch in the playoffs. Yes, he made some great plays in the playoffs. Also had some pretty great teams around him. And won 2 Super Bowl MVPs. That's the only MVPs he's ever won. Aaron Rodgers won 4 in the regular season. So would you rather have, basically the question is, would you rather have 1 more Super Bowl ring, or would you have 4 MVPs, all the extra All-Pros, however many it was, there's too many to count. Or would you rather have Peyton Manning and just have 2 Super Bowl victories against Tom Brady, which I admit would be pretty sweet. Now, obviously, Tom Brady's retired, so Stroud isn't going to get any of that. So basically, Stroud took Eli Manning's career. He says he'd rather have a career like Eli Manning than to have a career like Aaron Rodgers. Now, if you think about Eli Manning and Aaron Rodgers, they're not even in the same tier of greatness as far as quarterbacks go. Like, you don't think about Eli Manning as an Aaron Rodgers-esque quarterback. They're just nowhere close, The Rodgers had way more talent. And even though he didn't win quite as much as Eli Manning, way more talent, way more success individually. And I get it, it's not about individual success. And I think that's where Stroud is going here. I think now people are overreacting. I was listening to Colin Cowherd on the Herd podcast, and he was talking to James Jones about this, former Packers wide receiver, played plenty with Aaron Rodgers, knows Rodgers well, big Aaron Rodgers supporter. So it could be a little bit of bias here, but he made quite the case and was pretty fired up about it. Like, you don't want, like, Eli Manning and Aaron Rodgers are nowhere close. It's undisputed that Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback, has had the better career, even with only one Super Bowl ring. I mean, 2 is only one more than 1. Just to do the math there real quick for you. I mean, this is live math, live on the air. We're doing this, so pretty impressive stuff going on. So basically, Jones is really fired up. Obviously, it's Aaron Rodgers. It's not Eli Manning. And with all due respect, Eli Manning and C.J. Stroud, great guys, but it's obviously Aaron Rodgers, and you should be picking Aaron Rodgers' career. I get it. Makes total sense. I fully agree. But here's the deal. Really, I'm not reading too much into this because I think what C.J. Stroud was really trying to say is that he wants to be a team player. He's focused on winning. He's basically saying all the right things. Either that or else he didn't put too much thought into it. And so I think what it was is it's not really something to read into or overreact to. It's basically just he's just saying he wants to win. He's more into winning than individual success. He wants to be a team player and he wants to win. And that's a great thing to say. Teammates appreciate that. And, he's just saying the right things. And that's it. So that's all I got from that. All right. So another thing, quick topic, whatever I want to talk about. Again, I don't have a major main topic, I guess, kind of rolling over a few different things that I would like to address. But Matt LaFleur, I've seen a lot of places around saying, oh, Matt LaFleur is an underrated coach, and then others are like, well, I don't know. Matt LaFleur, he had Aaron Rodgers on the team. That's why we don't consider him a great coach, and that's why he's never a candidate for Coach of the Year. Now, I mean, come on. If you look at last year, Packers' youngest team in the NFL made the playoffs, upset the Cowboys, and almost upset the 49ers in the divisional round of the playoffs. Here is the deal. I don't understand why Matt LaFleur wasn't closer or why he wasn't Coach of the Year after that performance, for one thing, because that was just incredible. I mean, this is Jordan Love's first year starting and very young team, lots of rookies and second-year guys, not many guys even over the age of 25 on the team, and he helps them get to the divisional round. They almost beat the 49ers. I mean, they were looked like legit contenders by the end of the season. And that's why the Packers are being talked about as potential Super Bowl my tongue is getting twisted up. That's why people are talking about the Packers as potential Super Bowl contenders this year. So, or heading into this season, they're being talked about in that way. And you think that's a coincidence? No. It's not just because Jordan Love came in and was great. I mean, they're growing pains too, and they pulled this team together. And even like this offseason, Jordan Love's talked about it. Like, it's been way better, he says, from some of these second-year guys like Jaden Reed and Dontavian Wicks, with the fact that they just know the playbook so much better. They're able to play at full speed. They know exactly how to win on routes, what routes to run, how to get to the spot they need to get to. And he said it's been like night and day from last offseason. Okay, and they got that far last year with these rookies that, are still learning, and now they're in their second year. They can play a lot faster, they know the playbook a lot better. Jordan Love knows the playbook better. I mean, he's still learning some things. This team is going to only get better, and Matt LaFleur still had him in that position last year. Now, people will argue, oh, well, he had Aaron Rodgers. That's why they won 13 games all those years, I mean, last year they only won 9 games. I mean, they went 9-8 with Jordan Love. So, I mean, it took a major step back. Well, here's the deal. For one thing, In 2022, the Packers had a worse record, went 8-9, missed the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers. So, whoops. And that was because they also lost Devontae Adams, and Rodgers can't seem to pass to guys, at least very quickly. He's not very open to pass to other guys. He doesn't like to spread the ball around a ton. When he's used to not, I guess. Jordan Love seems to be very good at that, and I think it's actually beneficial to spread the ball around. Anyway, I'm not here to rip Rodgers. So, Matt LaFleur, sure, he had this great records with Rodgers. So, it's all Rodgers, right? Okay, well, let's look at back when Mike McCarthy was the coach. Some people think Mike McCarthy's an okay coach. I personally think he's not all that great, but some people seem to think he's a pretty good coach. Now is the head coach for the Dallas Cowboys and has not got fired yet, so that's probably a good sign. But, or maybe it is, I'm not sure. At any rate, the last 2 seasons that Mike McCarthy coached the Packers, this is with Aaron Rodgers. The Packers, this was in 2017 and 2018. He was fired, most of the way through the 2018 season, like with 4 games left or something. The Packers went 7-9 and 6-9-1, respectively, those 2 years. Now, granted, in 2017, Rodgers broke his collarbone early in the season. It was the Brett Hundley show, and it was not pretty. But Rodgers came back, and it didn't go well. So, still had a losing year, still missed the playoffs. They missed the playoffs both those years. McCarthy got fired midway through the 2018 season, and Matt LaFleur was hired immediately. Takes the Packers 13-3. They get the number 1 seed. They're the number 1 seed in the AFC. They go to the championship game and lose. The next year, they go 13-3, go to the championship game again and lose. And then 13-4. The next year, another 13-win season. This is with Rodgers again. And 13-4, number 1 seed. They lose in the divisional round this time to the 49ers. Yeah, that part isn't really pretty, that they couldn't really finish it. But again, how do we know that's not Rodgers? How do we know that it's not Rodgers that's the problem? I don't know. It's hard to tell. At any rate, I don't think Rodgers was doing him any favors. I think Matt LaFleur was able to kind of push Rodgers to open him up to more ideas and to, be able to change the offense a little bit, and that helped Rodgers out. And again, he won back-to-back MVPs at one point. So yeah, Rodgers, I believe that was 2020 and 2021. And after the first 13-win season, they drafted Jordan Love, gave him a little extra more motivation. He went on to win 2 MVPs in a row. And then at the 8-9 season, they trade Rodgers, go back to 9-8, get into the playoffs, get to the divisional round, and just barely lose to the 49ers. So what I'm saying here is that Matt LaFleur is a very underrated coach in the NFL. A lot of people say, hey, he's got a success from Rodgers. I don't think so. People will hopefully find out here this season. If not, then I guess people just don't know ball, because Matt LaFleur is a great coach. I know I'm biased, but I also have stats to back it up. I gave you those stats. And people are starting to talk about it. Some smart analysts in the NFL, the ones that are not so smart are not. And so that's kind of where we stand at the moment. But yeah, Matt LaFleur has been a great coach. I think he's helped Love a lot, as well as QB coach Tom Clements. I think all of those guys have been great for Love's development. And yeah, Packers are immediately after what looked like a rebuild was happening. They're immediately back contending again. So It's great to see. All right, that will about do it for me today. Thank you all for listening. It's been really, really great here being able to talk Packers with you again. So we will, I guess, leave it at that. If you have any topic ideas, feel free to send in a voice message or comment on YouTube or anywhere else. Send me a DM on Instagram or X or somewhere like that. That would be fantastic. But until next time, go Pack Go.